Good morning, Wareham. It is Friday, October 18th, and we have a great show here for you. The news headlines, the weather report, and today in history. This morning, Cole Shafford is in the studio to discuss the week's news and events. Also learn about Cindy Arvin photography and sport yoga spot. In addition, Sally Morrison will be discussing the upcoming Depot events. But first, I would like to take this moment to thank Not Your Average Antiques, an antique shop down Cranberry Highway in East Wareham, for donating the props that you see in the morning show. So stay tuned because the news and the weather are next. Wareham Week at the following stories. We're going to start with the Toby Hospital, which held a groundbreaking ceremony on Friday, October 11th, to kick off the expansion of the hospital's emergency room. The renovations will increase the emergency room to 25,000 square feet, including 27 treatment rooms, 6 of which will be specially designed for those experiencing mental health or substance abuse disorders. The new facility will be able to accommodate 40,000 patients annually. Currently, Toby Hospital sees 30,000 patients in its emergency department each year, which was built back in 1987 to accommodate 15,000 patients annually. The expansion is a $25 million project, which hospital officials hope will be completed in 2020. In addition to the emergency room extension, Toby Hospital has proposed building a gazebo in Bessie Park, which will be a place for community members to gather. And to another news, Mary Rose is out and about. Wareham's oldest resident, Mary Rose, who is 104 years old, spoke with some of the youngest residents in our town. She was back at the school that she attended, Oak Grove, in Onset Avenue. During her visit, Rose shared memories of her youth with the children and took some questions from curious listeners. Young listeners had many questions for Rose about her childhood. To their surprise, she neither owned a cell phone nor skateboard back when she was a kid. Mary Rose's daughter, Marianne Rose, also noted that unlike modern girls who wear pants, Mary could only wear skirts and dresses back in the day. Also, the Marion Wareham Regional Refuse Disposal District Committee thought that increasing sticker fees might be a way to increase revenues as it looks to start operating without backing of its primary funding source, Convera CMS, in 2021. But it turns out that the district's charter doesn't allow it to charge sticker fees. Instead, what the district can do is let the towns know that it will access them for the certain amount of money, and then suggest that the town set sticker fees at a certain amount to be able to raise the amount that will be assessed without dipping into town funds. Whether Carver, Marion, and Wareham choose to use stickers to cover that cost or come up with the funds through other means is up to the towns. Marion is also considering leaving the Waste District and will take the first of the 2 town meetings votes on the matter at its October 21st town meeting. And the Wareham Gardening Club brought their tools and green thumbs to the Onset Bluff on Tuesday to help preserve and beautify the slope. Alongside the Buzzards Bay Coalition, the gardens worked to pull weeds and assess how the native plants planted in early June had phased over the summer. The slope was planted with species native to this area, including low blueberry, inkberry, and bayberry, including beach plums. And to another news, For a fee, the Gateway Youth Hockey will teach kids to skate or to play hockey. Both classes are 8-week sessions held on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at Toby Academy, 232 Front Street, Marion. The courses will begin on November 17th. Both classes are open to children ages 3 and up. The parent will be responsible of the child's sports gear. And that is all for this morning news headlines. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to continue with our weather forecast. All right, welcome back, Wareham. Thank you for being with us this morning. And now it's your weather forecast. So a mix of sunshine today, sunshine and some clouds, but good news is no rain. And actually, I have missed that violent storm that we had, I think 2 nights ago. I slept quite beautifully. That was just gorgeous. I hope nobody was hurt. I hope nobody's house was damaged. But if we could have some of that back, without the pernicious effects, that would be fantastic. So high today at 59 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear skies with low of 37 degrees. So you do no longer need the fan or air condition, and hopefully you have a sturdy, heavy blanket with you to keep you home tonight, to keep you warm tonight. And also tomorrow, Saturday, it's going to be mostly sunny skies, high at 58 degrees. At night, partly cloudy with low of 47. Sunday, more clouds than sun, but no rain, as I said, and high 59. Partly cloudy skies at night with a low of 47. That is your weather forecast for today and the rest of the weekend. We are going to move on to our first featured program of the day, and that is Sport Yoga Spot. And when we come back, we're going to continue with more.
Who reign victorious, the conquerors, glorious, the fighters and the warriors, who wanna go to war with us? History will never be the same. Everybody gonna remember your name. You're a winner. Yeah, let's make a toast to the winners. Yeah, let's make a toast to the winners.
Hello, welcome to Sport Yoga Spot. My name is Amy. I'm the owner and instructor here. I'm currently studying exercise science at Bridgewater State University. My goal with opening the studio was to keep it small, keep it more personal, like personal training and hands-on fitness. We do a lot of functional training, we use weights, and we also do a lot of strength as well as stretching. Obviously, flexibility is a big thing here. I'm an instructor here for Yoga for Strength, 1111 Power Yoga, and as well as Sport Yoga.
Man, I'm ready for whatever. Watching the greats like, man, I could do better. And I ain't waiting to asking if it's my time yet. Slaying legends, I ain't even hit my prime yet. Cause it's the ones who want it, who work the hardest. Never giving up, I came to finish what I started. So put me in your history books. My life, how your epiphanies look. Let's grab the champagne.
Hello, I'm Patricia Akins, and I am the co-owner of Sport Yoga Spot as well as an instructor. We are a boutique fitness located in the center of Wareham, and we offer my favorite program, Sport Yoga. It's a functional training for optimal performance, which includes mobility, endurance, and strength. We use weights and our body weight to get stronger and faster, helping to improve the way that you move, the way you feel, and the way that you look.
You turn from a man to a myth, cause every century only a few exist. So go and check your history books. This is how your epiphanies look. Now let's grab the champagne and the ones who reign victorious, the conquerors glorious.
Sport yoga is special because most yoga programs have something called long holds, where we hold poses for 30, 60, 90 seconds, sometimes even longer than that. With sport yoga, we only hold them for 2 seconds and repeat them multiple times. It's more dynamic mobility. If you're an athlete, a person, whatever, when you go to get up or sit down, run, you don't run, move, and hold a position and then change. You have to quickly change, quickly adapt, stop, go, sit, stand very quickly. And our bodies need to learn how to do that in order to prevent injury and to be able to perform at your highest level while active. Sport yoga incorporates movement and athletic movement as well as everyday movement, and we strengthen those patterns with 2-second holds. This is perfect posture, all right? So now turn and face this way for 1 second. Let's do heel-toe strikes, all right? So take your right foot and bring it forward, all right? Now the back foot pushes you forward off of that toe. You articulate at that ankle, come up, high knee. Now this foot becomes the front foot, and it's heel-toe, and come up. Now your hands just kind of go with the flow. There. Beautiful. Now you're going to do it backwards. So now toe back and step. Toe, roll, flex. Step back, toe, roll, flex. Step back, toe, roll, flex. All right? Now do it and feel and walk and there. Now, in perfect posture, walk across the floor. Heel, toe. Heel, toe. Push yourself off that back foot. Make it even bigger. Push, push, push. Nice. There you go.
Hi, I'm Paige Hiller, and I'm one of the instructors here at Sport Yoga Spot. I teach Strong by Zumba, and it is a very high-intensity workout here. It has 3 levels. It is for all different types of abilities. Strong by Zumba has taken out all of the dance aspect of the Zumba, and it has put in a lot of the weight and the strengthening. And it is a 60-minute workout, and it's a lot of fun. And you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, let's make a toast to the winners. Yeah, let's make a toast to the winners. And I always knew I'd be somebody special, cause I believed in myself. So no matter what challenge or adversity or problem comes my way, I know I'll be an overcomer. I know I'll be a victor. You know why? Cause I'm a winner.
At Sport Yoga Spot, we offer a free first class, so come on down, try it out. We do recommend, because our classes are smaller sizes, to sign up online at sportyogaspot.com.
History will never be the same. Everybody gonna remember your name. You're a winner.
All right, welcome back. This is the morning show. With me is Chloe Shufford, the editor at Wareham Week newspaper, here to discuss the week's news and upcoming events. Welcome.
Good morning, Queen.
Good morning. So let's start with the murder. That is some juicy story.
Yeah, it's really kind of wild. So there's an older man, I believe he was 70, who was killed in his home in 2016 on Glen Charlie Road by this man who was just convicted this past week, who he knew through amateur radio, so the victim had an affair with his killer's wife or girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it was a pretty brutal murder, and the trial just wrapped up last week, and he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. So hopefully that will sort of bring some peace to the family. I know he had children and grandchildren.
Oh my goodness! Now both men lost here. This is not like 20-year-olds. These are grown men, 73 years old.
Yeah, that was sort of surprising to me too, because they were both kind of elderly, I think. You know.
Yeah. Where do you get the energy to commit such a murder? And that was such an intimate murder. They were reading the details, cutting of the arms, stabbing before shooting him.
Right.
Which, what is it, 16 times or something?
It was a lot. Yeah.
A lot.
With 2 different guns, which was also odd, I thought.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and so what was sort of interesting to me was that part of how police caught him was they looked at the GPS tracking data on his, I don't know whether it was on his car or he was using like a GPS app on his phone, but he had claimed that he'd gone on a joyride to New Jersey, but he had actually, they had data proving that he had been to the victim's house like 3 times on the night that he was killed.
Now, did they have other proof, like DNA? Was his DNA on the scene, or just the GPS was what convicted him?
Well, they found one of the guns that was used, and then he had the victim's blood on, I believe, the gun and on some of his clothing and stuff. So they had other evidence. And there was also, I think he drank like half a beer while he was at the victim's house that they could test for DNA. So there was a lot of evidence for them to use, which was good.
Now, do we know this person's residence? Does he have any neighbors, the victim? Were neighbors able to share any details? Are we going to pursue this?
Well, so I was looking back at the articles we wrote at the time, and interestingly, one of the neighbors of the victim was Jim Muniz, who's a selectman now, who was saying that he was really pretty surprised and shocked that this had happened, in the neighborhood. It's Glen Charlie Road. It's a pretty peaceful place usually. So I think a lot of the neighbors were really surprised and upset, that this happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't see that in Wareham. That's like worth for a movie. I don't know. I never expect such things to be here in Wareham. So this was a crime of passion, love.
And jealousy. Yeah.
And everybody, 2 are deceased, 1 murdered, another one, the ex-girlfriend has passed away because of reading the details.
Yeah, I believe she was already dead at the time that the crime occurred.
Okay.
So I don't quite know how he must have found out through like emails or texts or something. I don't know the details on that.
And then this other fella, now he's life in prison.
Right.
Okay. Are you going to pursue to talk with the family of the victim? I'm
not sure. I don't know. Maybe, but I don't think so, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was a
lot. You didn't cover the story, right? You waited for the press release?
Right, yeah. So I wasn't in court unfortunately, but yeah, we got some details from the DA's office.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. So what has our Wareham school been up to?
Right. So at the school committee meeting last night, all of the school administration and leadership teams came to present their school improvement plan for next year and also sort of recap some of their successes. And there are a few main things that are being focused on all the schools. So one of the main ones is emotional intelligence. That's something they're all talking about.
Emotional intelligence. How do they just define that? What is emotional intelligence?
I had to look it up, to be honest. And it's my understanding is that it's the ability to sort of recognize and identify what someone is feeling and be able to communicate that in an appropriate way.
So social skills?
Yes, yeah. And so that's something that students are working on and that they're also wanting teachers to work on, because the idea is that like if teachers are better at managing their emotions or feeling more calm at school, that makes them better teachers. So it improves outcomes for kids too.
Okay.
They also talked about improving student choices. So making it so that kids can choose, like, okay, you learned these concepts in math, but you can show that you learned it in different ways. Like you could do, one of the examples they gave was designing a board game that sort of executed the math skill somehow, or doing, a regular pen and paper proof, or doing, a presentation or a video. So giving kids different ways to sort of be creative and, show what they're learning.
Okay. So these things, do they come with extra training and extra tools?
Yes.
And how did they talk about the budget and how they're supposed to fit all that in?
They didn't talk about the budget. So for the emotional skills stuff, that I think a number of teachers at each school, like 3 or 4 teachers from each school, went to. There's a center at Yale, the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence, and received some training there that they're going to then bring back and share with all the other teachers. And I think with something else that they talked about a lot was sort of peer observation among teachers. So like if one teacher has a really great way to have kids show what they've learned, or like different project ideas, they would share that with other teachers in the grade or even across the school. So they're sort of learning from each other, which is exciting.
Okay, so they didn't seem like as if the budget is going to restrict any of this progress.
It wasn't mentioned if it
Okay.
was. Yeah.
All right, so everybody went home happy.
Yes.
What else you got for me? Did you cover? Did you write about the Toby demolition? Not the demolition, but the expansion, the kickoff of the emergency room.
Yeah. So that was sort of funny. We got a press release because they actually didn't invite any media there, so I was not there.
I called them yesterday after I read the article. I said, I
Yeah.
would love to have them here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they're kicking off this huge emergency room expansion. It's a $25 million project, I believe. But it's going to really expand the space that's available and add new treatment rooms for patients, including some that are specifically designed for the care of people who are mentally ill or struggling with substance abuse disorders. So they're hoping that these improved facilities will allow them to better treat the volume of patients that they have, because right now they're seeing. So the emergency room that they're in now was built in the 80s to see 15,000 people, and now they see 30,000 a year. So it's overcrowded.
So you said you didn't receive any press release? Was there?
Well, I got a press release after they did the groundbreaking.
After they did the groundbreaking, did they say why?
They said the weather, and they weren't sure if they were gonna have it inside or outside. I don't know.
Okay, because I'm trying to see if they're trying to be careful due to the closing of the maternity, and they do not want any media.
I don't know.
Because this is big news. They
is.
were very vocal when they were demolishing or thinking of demolishing the homestead in order to build the expansion. I would think that they would carry on, but
Yeah. So then there is, for people who are interested in the maternity ward closing, there's going to be a hearing, I believe it's October 25th. It's mentioned in our story online that the Department of Public Health is holding, so people can say, whether they're for or against closing the maternity ward.
what's saying? How powerful is their vote, or is it just a formality?
To be honest, I'm not sure. That's something I have to look into. But I would imagine that since the Department of Public Health is doing it, they might be able to overrule Toby Hospital. I don't know, but
Okay.
that would be my guess.
All right. Well, what are you doing this weekend?
This weekend, there is going to be, tonight, I'm very excited to go to Complaint Department in Lemonade, which is the Library Foundation's play.
Yes.
And that's going to be at 7 p.m. in the Redmond Hall. And so that's going to be a fun fundraiser with different selectmen and various other town figures who are going to be performing in it. Tomorrow there's a craft fair at the high school to benefit the Viking Theater Company. What else is going on? I don't know. Those are the main things on my agenda.
You'll be covering those things?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for being in the studio to, digest a couple news for us and to let us know what you'll be up to this weekend.
Thank you, Queen.
So that was Chloe Sherford, the editor at Wareham Weekly newspaper, here to discuss or to digest the week's news. In the upcoming events, we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to continue with more.
Today's cell phones are not only an extension of our arms, but a life tool. Hello, I am Maureen Farrington from Advantage Custom Apps. I am here today to talk about a certain app, a tool that will help you navigate your way through the Wareham community. The WCTV app places your local community in the palm of your hand. The app is a place where you will find local events, town meetings, local and school sports, community interest stories, compelling interviews, and most of all, the ability to shop local. Connect to the Wareham app by going to your web browser and typing in wctv.app. And then, once you bring up the web link, you have the opportunity of adding WCTV's app to your home screen. Once you download the app and save it to your home screen, you will then have the opportunity to, with the touch of a finger, hit the call button, which we call WCTV. The refer us button, you can refer the app to your friends and families. There's a Facebook share button if you'd like to put that on your Facebook page as well. And here is the menu tab. On the menu tab, we have YouTube videos, new program proposal, events that WCTV is hosting, a photo gallery, contact button, and can lead you right to their website. We also have a Shop Local tab. When you touch on that, you'll see the local businesses that you can frequent. Also, there's an About Us tab telling you some information about WCTV, their hours and directions. This here will take you right to their Facebook page. There is a donate button if you would like to donate to WCTV, and a join button that will let you join their community. Many local establishments are listing their business on the WCTV app. And you can too. It's a great way to showcase your business to your existing customers and your potential new ones. For a nominal fee, you could list your business on the Shop Local tab as well. A percentage of that fee goes to fund a scholarship for an outgoing senior. So be in the now and get the WCTV app on your home screen.
Welcome back. Now we're going to continue on with our regular programming. This time we're going to be hearing from Cindy Arvin of Cindy Arvin Photography. Take a look.
Hello, I'm Cindy from Cindy Irving Photography. I specialize mostly in family portraits as well as corporate and business beauty headshots. Well, I always loved taking portraits, so I was the one at the dinner table. Or at holidays where my brother was like, get out of my face. Most of my family was like, all right, Cindy, put the camera down. That was me, always with the camera. Let's see, 2011, I got my first DSLR, the digital camera. And then I kind of played around with that, went to school in Costa Rica, studied photography. And so I remember saying it was like, I'm all done, like this is too hard, I'll just shoot on manual. Like, I'm not trying to be a photographer. Which is kind of funny looking back at it now. And then I ended up having my daughter, and I took out my camera again. Kind of just played around with it, but nothing fancy. The way I really got into photography was my friend. She said, hey Cindy, you have a fancy camera. Can you take pictures of my newborn? And I'm like, yeah, I have a fancy camera, but I'm not a photographer, so I can't take pictures of your newborn. She's like, please, I really want pictures of my newborn. And I'm just like, all right, we can try it. I can't promise you anything. So that was my very first like shoot for someone. I went to San Diego my first year probably photographing to meet with a group that I was part of. So that was my very first like travel for photography. And then later on, I ended up going to places like Seattle, where I did family photo shoots. I've been to, in Poland, when I was in Poland, I got to do some family shoots. Let's see, New Mexico, I've done corporate work there, New Orleans. So just kind of all over the States in a sense, although Poland and Belgium was one of those places where I did get to photograph, which was cool. Okay, so my process meeting a new client. Well, first they call me. We have that initial phone conversation, and I definitely encourage phone conversations because I get to talk to somebody, I get to hear their voice, they get to hear mine, we get to have a different type of connection versus if I'm, trying to go through emails. So after that, if we seem like a match, I have them come in for a consultation so they can see what I have to offer. Because me talking about, like, oh, this photo mounted like this, like, nobody's gonna understand that. You have to come and touch it, as you saw some of my stuff. So after that, the next process would be the photo shoot, which is the super fun part. And then after that, I have something called a viewing and ordering session, which is when I go to the client's house, we do a consultation, almost kind of like an interior designer, because I'm basically, if they're doing wall art, I'm designing design for their walls, like what layouts are we going to do for the galleries, and so that's pretty much my process for that. So my favorite part is the delivery. Because that's when I get to reveal that, oh my God, look at your photo, it looks amazing. And it's always such a different experience from a digital, because looking at a digital on the computer and seeing that, but versus seeing it printed, there's just something magical about that print, something magical about having it in your home. My favorite portrait, I should have brought in, but it's the one you saw of my daughter. She is such an outdoors person, and I'm kind of like, all right, let me stay huddled inside. And so that portrait in particular was her playing outside. And so for her playing outside is fun. For me, capturing the moments is fun. So I'm like, all right, compromise. You're outside, I'm taking the camera. We're both happy. And so I just kind of snapped the portrait. It's just her face and her eyes. And just something about her eyes for me. It's just like, you know, there in that photo, it just looks like the world. Like I could see the world in her eyes. And so that one, as you saw, I probably printed a million times. But I love looking at that because it's my baby, but it's also like I'm just looking deep into her eyes. Well, the recipe, I think, is to definitely have everybody be comfortable. And so that's why I like to meet clients ahead of time and not at the photo shoot, because at that point you already kind of built a relationship. And so they kind of know you. Maybe the kids, not so much, because depending if they bring their kids or not to the consultations, but you just kind of develop that relationship where everybody's kind of comfortable once you get to that point of the shoot. And then for little kids, if they haven't met me yet, you know, kind of tucking the camera away for a little bit and kind of getting to know them, getting down on their level, saying like, you know, I'm Cindy, how are you? You know, what's your favorite, you know, princess, or what's your favorite cartoon character? And just kind of like building that bond first. And I think once you have that, you know, you have the trust of your clients, especially the little ones. And so just going from there, I think that's important.
Those long legs pay off.
Right, you guys are awesome. All right, so we're gonna head over to the beach.
All right.
The first few shots I'm gonna take, there's like a grass in that area. We're gonna start there. And so after that, we'll do like the rocks over there and stuff. I'll show you guys, just follow me. All right. Looks good. All right, Steve, let's see if you can sit on that rock. I'm gonna see how you look. Excuse me.
Stress down.
Perfect. I'm gonna adjust you guys. All right, don't look at me, Liv. Ah, I said don't look. Give her a little tickle, Steve. I don't know if her belly's, oh, beautiful. My role as a photographer, I believe, is to capture these memories for people so that they can look back on it and, you know, hopefully see this time where the kids were little, or just kind of go back into the past and relive that moment. And I want it to be a happy moment where they're looking at that and saying like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know, little Timmy was so little, but that was such a fun day, and I miss that, you know? And something where they can pass on to generations. So my role is to have something tangible that they can look back on.
Hello, and thank you for being with us this morning. We are broadcasting live from our WCTV studio. This is Good Morning Wareham, your source for local news, weather, traffic, and more information. And now for a moment in history, let's take a look at where we were today in history. On this day in Manifest Destiny history, the United States bought the lovely land of Alaska from Russia in 1867. We were able to purchase the land for 2 cents per acre, adding up to $7.2 million for the 586,000 square miles of land. Alaska is by far the largest state in the nation. The purchase was actually fairly controversial back in the day, with people seeing it as a worthless bargain. Today, the United States gets much of its oil and seafood from our friends living far up north. Also today in Caribbean history, the United States took control of Puerto Rico in 1898. At the end of the Spanish-American War, the U.S. invaded the island that once belonged to Spain without much resistance. The island has been a territory of the United States ever since. Some people on the island have pushed to make Puerto Rico an American state, while others have pushed for its independence. Currently, the island has its own laws and constitution, but its people are still considered American citizens. On this day in crime history, John Lennon and Yoko Ono were arrested for possession of drugs in 1968. An anti-drug detective named Norman Pichler pushed for an investigation of Lennon and Ono, which led to police breaking into their home. Lennon and Ono were found to have drugs like marijuana and morphine in their possession. Lennon pleaded guilty to his case and was fined 150 pounds. The same detective would go on to arrest fellow Bureau George Harrison for similar crimes. For today's birthday, shout out goes to Zac Efron. Born in California in 1987, the popular actor has starred in several films, with his earlier career film being High School Musical, which kick-started his career. And that is all for this morning news, for this morning's Today in History. To learn more cool historical facts, you can go online under history.com. Stay with us, the coffee segment is next. But first, let's take a look at our events calendar. All right, so last week I had Sally Morrison in the studio to discuss the upcoming events of DPAR. There is a fashion show coming up, the best in show, something like that. Anyhow, so here is our conversation last week. Good morning, Wareham, and thank you for being with us. We are broadcasting live from our WCTV studio at 505 Main Street. Right now is the coffee segment. With me is Sally Morrison, here to talk about DPAL. Oh, that's a cat move. That's
It's because you're transitioning from the cat conversation outside.
How do you do a dog? Woof. Oh.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, that's all right. So, welcome. You're having a dog fashion show coming up soon.
Yes, we have quite a few things coming up
Okay.
this month and next month. So Project Runway is like the biggest undertaking with WCTV and the Wareham Packwalkers, and that's a parody of Project Runway on television, and the owners become designers and the dogs are the models. And you can go crazy and channel, you know, your Heidi Klum, Christian Siriano, whatever, and your dog's dressed up to the nines. Or if you just have a wonderful, cute dog, which everybody thinks they have, and you just want them to come in and do their thing, so there'll be a big swath of different dogs and dressed and maybe not dressed at all, or dressed and they take it all off, which will make for good TV. The studio here will, the green screen will change it that it will be a red carpet, and the backdrop will be an opening night gala at Wareham Dog Park. But as you know, that'll all be done, but you don't see it. So then that means the dogs aren't distracted by anything, because so there isn't anything that'll be in here to get them into mischief, as it were. So every dog is scheduled individually. So those people who will say, my dog is like really good but goes nuts over other dogs, or is afraid of other dogs, blah, 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 blah. I've heard it all the past 3 weeks of people's worries, so I like trying to file that list away. Each dog comes into the studio by themselves, and they have 20 minutes to come in, and the meeting room will be the dressing room, should they have some get-up to put on. And then they come into the studio, come in here, and then for whatever time remains, which are more likely between 10 and 15 minutes, depending on the dog, we will just shoot. And from that, there will be massive editing. And depending how many dogs we have slots for 30 dogs. We will edit that every dog has the same amount of footage, and that best of what that dog is, we get to know the owners and we know what they really want showcased. And then that puts together into a video, and the video will have a premiere in January, and at the premiere, we will have 3 judges parodying Project Runway, so they will be picking the top designer. But everybody that comes to the event gets to vote and pick the People's Choice pup. So that could be any dog doing whatever just makes them go, makes them laugh, makes them go, oh, and all that kind of stuff. And all the registration is $25. And for that, when it's all done, each participant gets a DVD of Project Runway. And then Project Runway will run on demand on WCTV, and so people can tell anybody anywhere in the world to go to WCTV and on demand and see their pup, and I'm sure they'll say, you know, go to 12 minutes, 43 seconds, and that's when, you know, Chester is on or whatever. So it's our biggest fundraiser that we will have for this year, that will will get us to the amount of money that we need, which is $10,000. I'm hoping we go over $10,000, so that we can then apply for the Stanton grant for the design for the park. All the other steps, of which there were like a pile of them, all of those have been taken care of, which the Stanton will review to see if we've done everything else as well. And the only thing that's left is us is raising that final money. So we're looking for dogs. We're looking for 30 fabulous dogs. Again, if they don't like to wear something, that's okay. In here, I'm calling them designers already. The designs, you can bring treats, you can bring favorite animals, you can bring somebody else that you can be on either side, encouraging your dog to do whatever, because mostly what's going to be done in here is the video, and then we will do everything else on voiceover afterwards. So people can say and do whatever they want, and that won't be in the video. And the other thing people are concerned of is like, I love this, but I don't want to be on video, is that owners, for in here in the studio, it's the dogs, because they're close-ups, and it's like getting the best of the dog. In the dressing room, we will be talking to people getting ready, just like how it's in Project Runway. And the designer, owner, they can be off camera and it's just their voice, because then they also introduce themselves and their model dog. And should they want to share the inspiration for why they are dressed the way they are or not, they can share that on air. And we will tape that, and that will be included. We're also supporting all local area shelters, fosters, rescues. So if anybody's dog is a rescue and there is a history, that we take that history, and that history is shared in the voiceover. So when that dog is in the video, it'll say, and this is Chester, and Chester was a rescue, you know, in the good story. And then at the end of the video, all the involved rescues, shelters, fosters will be listed in the credits at the end. So we think it's going to be a lot of fun, but we need 30 dogs. Well, right now we need 20 dogs, because we just put the campaign public this week, and we have 10 people that are signed up. So the dates are October 26th here at the studio from 10 to 3, and November 1st from 10 to 3. Originally we were going to do night shoots, and then Triple E came in, because what we do is the depot will have their tent outside, and that's where you check in, because no dogs, you know, I'm crazy, but we wouldn't have a pile of dogs in here all at once. That would be a little bit much. So that's outside, and then that's why we couldn't do the night shoots, because of the Triple E. So people can come in, check in, and then we come out and we call each dog in individually. So, and then in here in the shoots, and the cameras will be on tripods, so if people are worried that their dog or strangers approaching, no one's going to get in one's dog's face, unless the dog is like wanting to get into the people who are shooting, you know, is very friendly. But, you know, and everybody here gets dogs, so we will do, we will make the dogs and the owners feel comfortable, and it'll be a fast 20 minutes in your life, and it will be for DPAW to raise funds, because we're also going to have in the video our sponsors. That's going to be our big money maker. So they're going to be considered co-producers. So, and there's only a set number of people, of businesses or individuals that want to be co-producers. And that'll be the big, excuse me, the big chunk of the money for that. And you can go on www.warehamdogpark.org, and that gives you an overview, and also any questions you might have, we've already heard, and they're like in there to answer that. You can also email me at SAMMORRISON, so that's Sam Morrison run together, at Comcast.net. I have the registration forms, and I have the information sheet, and I can send them to you. Or you can go to TD Bank, and up at the teller counter, there is a box marked Project Runway, and in there are registration forms and information sheets. And that's also a site, if you are game, that you can register, or you can contact me to make arrangements to register for that. And then once it's all done, like I said, we'll edit and we're going to have a premiere, and that'll also be lots of fun. I'm sorry, my voice is. The power went out. I was going to get up an hour beforehand so I would have a voice, and that didn't work out. I woke up, I'm like, ah!
So, what will you be looking for in order for somebody to win? What would you be accessing on the looking at the dogs?
Okay, so there will be 3 judges who will be local people who have a sense of the flair, so to speak, and they literally will be parroting judges on Project Runway.
So are they looking for? So
they're looking
since
for
this
a
is
design.
a parody, are they going to be strict on costumes, or are they going to look for funny?
There are 2
moments?
different awards.
Okay.
The judges are strictly looking at design, but also how the dog carried that. So there's a niche for people that love to dress their dogs up. That's for them. And it's opening night at the park, so basically they can wear anything. Like with human runways, people come in all kinds of get-ups that have whatever. So you can dress your dog however, and that's what the judges will be looking at. There is also the People's Choice Pup Award, and that's going to be those dogs that are stinking cute or engaging or whatever. So the people are looking more at the pup. The judges are looking at design. So there's actually 2 chances to win, or more than likely there'll be 2 winners. And there are also 3. There's first, second, and third. So there's ribbons just like in dog shows, and we're also channeling the movie Best in Show. If anybody's not seen that, highly recommend. It's hysterically funny. So there'll be 3 plus there'll be trophies for the top 2 dogs, and to support the dog park. So that's kind of where that's at. And I know it's new, it's never been done, so people are like, what? Especially because it came from my head. So there is those resources to look things up. If anybody has a specific question or concern, they can email me. I can send them information. But the bottom line, we're really, we've kind of thought out all the possible disasters, and we've thought of the hyper dogs. I just channeled my own 2 dogs, and the fearful dogs, and the comfort level of the owners. That's all been taken into consideration, and that's why everything is done individually, and so that everybody can find a calm, safe place before coming in here. And
any other events prior to that or before?
Well, Project Runway sign-ups are now, and we recommend sooner than later, so you get the day you want and also maybe the time you want. Right now, preferences are beginning and ends of days. Also, if you have 2 dogs, you can enter 2 dogs. You could enter 3 dogs. There has to be 1 adult per dog. And also, if you have a friend that you want to, as we typically do, and we have friends, drag somebody into something with you, so that if you want to do schedule back to back, the earlier you do that, the better chance you get. The hard part is I'm keeping the master calendar, so that if different people are scheduling, come the day, there's going to be 2 people showing up at the same time. So that's the only tricky part. So if people contact me, if you drop your registration off at TD Bank, I check that at the end of every day, and then I contact that person and then go over with them what would be the best time to schedule their dog. So that part's a little cumbersome, but so far it's worked for 10 dogs, so I think it can work for the remaining 20. And it'll just be one dog, and all the dogs are different, which I'm really happy from what they're saying. Their personalities are different, and they're different breeds, or they're mutts, or whatever. So that'll make it fun.
So we got 2 minutes left. Could you remind us where all these funds will be going towards?
It goes to the dog park. And there is also an event on October 19th at Swift's Beach. No, Swift's Neck. And it's called Zumba with your dog. You can bring a dog or you can just come because you like Zumba. And it will be in the park at Swift's Beach, that playground park area. It's $10. And you can also get more information on that at warehamdogpark.org. Deepaw and Wareham Pack Walkers will be back at the bank again on Halloween from 2 to 3. I will be doing Halloween dog tails and crafts, Halloween crafts, and tons of free giveaways for kids from 2 to 3. TD Bank will also have giveaways for kids and dogs. And then the parade, the trick-or-treating is from 3 to 5. So if you come an hour early, you get some good stuff. And then on November 9th at Stone Path Malt is Wareham Pack Walkers Bark and Brew from 4 to 8. And it's an expo of all things and everything about dogs. They will also have raffles and giveaways. And half the proceeds are going to Deepaw and half to the shelters that they support. So we're busy.
You are busy. I hope you come back again as those dates get closer and closer so you can remind our viewers.
Sign up your dogs if you're a little worried. Contact me and I can talk you through. The Wareham Pack Walkers will be part of this, the trainers. They will be escorting the dogs so they know how to deal with each dog, with little shy dogs and exuberant dogs.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Wareham, for joining us this morning for another episode of Good Morning Wareham. My guest was Sally Morrison talking about Deepaw, the upcoming event. So a lot of information. Sign up if you would like to participate. If you missed us this morning, the show will be rebroadcasted this evening at 6 p.m. We'll also go on our YouTube channel, Wareham Community Television on YouTube. Thank you and see you on Monday. I think Monday's Columbus Day. We'll see. So maybe Monday or Wednesday. Bye, Wareham. Thank you for being with us this morning. This particular show will air this evening at 6 p.m. We'll also be back on Monday. Selectman Alan Slavin will be here to continue on our debate regarding naming the new elementary school. With that, thank you, Wareham, and have a pleasant day. Bye.